Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. Today, I want to tell you a story, kind of a cheesy story, that will explain why a new sales guy, brand new, doesn't know shit, can have some real advantage over somebody who's been highly trained. So, here's the story. A boy, 19, 20 years old, goes to work in a hardware store. He doesn't know shit about hardware, and the manager says, look, I don't have time to train you. Just go sit over there on that stool, and if somebody asks for help, do your best to help them. Just don't screw anything up. I don't expect much from you. So the boy's like, okay, let's go. He's very excited, right? And he's sitting in his chair, and he's sitting there about 20 minutes, and a little old lady comes in. And she sees him with this little name tag on his shirt, and she says, sir, can you help me? He says, yes, I can. Absolutely, I can. She says, I'm looking for a heater. Can you help me find a heater? And the boy's like, man, that is great. I'd love to help you. But he realizes he doesn't know shit. Doesn't even know where the heaters are in the store. And so he tells the lady who's come in, the customer, he says, let's see what we can find. And so they walk down the aisles, and he sees the big sign on the aisle cap that says heaters. He goes, okay, let's go down this way. And as he's walking, he doesn't know anything. So all he knows is to ask her questions. And so he says to her, tell me something. Why do you need a heater? And she says, well, I have a back room in my house that gets kind of cold in the wintertime, and I'd like a heater just to kind of keep me warm. I don't like being cold. I like having to wear blankets and lots of coats in the wintertime. He says, okay, fine. That's great. And he gets over and he sees in the aisle the place where all the heaters are, and there's a whole bunch of them. And he says, ma'am, we've got heaters here from $25 up to $2,500. Do you have any idea about a budget? She goes, oh my God, $2,500. That's way too much money. She goes, but a $25 heater, that's probably not where that's probably cheap, probably burn my house down. Do you have anything like in the $50 range? Maybe 75. And he looks and he sees the area where the $50 to $75 heaters are. He goes, yes, ma'am, we have them right here. And he says, we have a variety of options here of colors. What color do you like? And she said, do you have a red one? He said, I think so. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it's right here. Why do you think red? And she said, well, I've got a blue carpet. And I want the red thing. I want the heater to stand out so I don't trip over it and kick it. He says, here's a heater right here. And it's $60. And it's red. And it ought to heat up your room nicely. And they walk up to the register and they check out. And the lady goes over to the manager and says, that new guy you just hired, he's excellent. Loved him. And she walked out the door. And the manager gave him a thumbs up and said, man, I don't know what you're doing, but it sure is great. Keep it up. Well, the same story happens 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times a day for the next 2 weeks. And, a couple of times a day, the manager gets a compliment on this new guy. And the manager's so excited. He goes, man, we're going to training. We're sending you to training, 2 weeks. Boy, we teach you something. You'll really go gangbusters. So he's all excited. 2 weeks go by, getting lots of compliments. And they send him off to training school. And he's excited, and the manager of the store is excited. Well, he's gone for 3 or 4 weeks, comes back, and now he knows everything about everything. And he is so excited. He goes and sits in his lucky chair, and the manager goes, boy, I'm expecting great things of you. And the first customer that comes in the door is this man. And he looks over at the boy sitting on the stool and says, I'm looking for a cooler. Can you help me find a cooler? The boy's like, hell yeah, I can help you. Boy, have we got coolers. And he starts talking about all different kinds of coolers. The boy goes, wait a minute, I've got an idea. You know what you need? You need a Yeti cooler. We've got this sale on these things. It's a great deal. Normally they're $600. Today they're $480. It's the best cooler in the world. It's bear proof. It'll keep your ice for 5 days. Feature benefit. And the guy said, let me think about that. And the boy said, you'd be a fool to buy any other cooler. This thing is just It's the cat daddy. It's the best. And the guy says, okay, well, thank you. Let me think about it. And he walks out the store and he's gone. And this same thing happens over and over and over again. And the boy's sales go to, very little, if nothing. And he's just stunned. He can't believe it. So what we have is a beginner who doesn't know anything. And all he knows to do is ask his prospect questions, right? What are the things that they're looking for? What's important to them? When you sell a product or even a service, what we do is we let the damn product or service get in the way. We want to talk way too much about the service or the product and not nearly enough, not ask enough about the prospect. Because what do you know about professional salespeople? Guess what they do? They don't spend almost no time on the product. They spend the whole time on the person they're talking to, not just facts and figures, but opinions. Why is that important? Why do they like that? Tell me how that happens. Tell me what you're hoping will happen. Tell me what you're hoping won't happen. Tell me why that's important to you. Being sincerely curious, having your prospect understand that you're trying to understand them, right? Even if you've seen it a million times before, it's so easy as a salesperson, anybody, to get clinical and to know exactly what the answer is as soon as the person asks the first question. But here's the point. Maybe you do know the answer, right? But if you give the answer too quickly, before they feel like you understand them, before they feel fully understood, there's a barrier between you. And the chances of your sale go way, way down, way down. So think about the beginner, ask a bunch of questions, they don't know any better. And then the pro, who asks a bunch of questions and knows and has the product knowledge, right? But doesn't lead with product knowledge, doesn't even middle with product knowledge, just at the end, when it's time to show the person what's important. Here's the story. This guy who came in to buy the cooler, he was taking his grandson fishing. He wanted a little styrofoam cooler to keep a sandwich in, right, and a drink. He didn't need a giant 80-quart Yeti cooler. But the boy spent so much time telling him about it and almost shaming him for not taking it. Ran him off. Don't be the guy at the bottom that makes it all about the product and not about the customer. You'll waste a ton of time. You'll run off a ton of people. Spend your time asking questions, trying to understand your prospect, where they're coming from. Make them feel understood. Be sincerely curious. Go into every single call with a beginner's mind, to go to learn, not to teach. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Hope you're having a great January, leading to a great year. We're going to have to work harder than ever. Don't know what's happening in this crazy economy. Share this podcast with somebody that needs to hear it. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. Give me 5 stars. It really helps expose this to more people. Thank you for being here and being a part of the No BS Sales team. Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you haven't already, please take 1 minute to write a quick review for the show. It really does make a huge difference. Also, subscribe to the show and please forward this episode to somebody else who needs to hear it. As a bonus for listening, I'm going to give you access to a free mini course, 7 expensive sales mistakes you're making and what you can do about it. Go to www.7salesmistakes.com and get access to the free mini course. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.